Now, I played my first video games in an arcade. My first console was an Atari 2600. For kids from my generation, when Tron came out, for 2 hours, it was the greatest movie ever made. For 2 hours, we had seen nothing like it, and you wanted to go there. You wanted to enter the grid. For us, Tron was a great, great experience, at least while you were a kid. So when we heard that they were making Tron Legacy, a Tron movie made in the post-Matrix world, people from my generation, we were like, how could they possibly do that wrong? Well, it seems like the filmmakers were listening, and they made a list of exactly how to do it wrong, and worked from that list when they made Tron Legacy. Oh boy. So our hero in Tron Legacy is Sam Flynn, the son of Kevin Flynn, the hero of the original Tron. Sam is a young man who lost his father at a young age. Apparently, Kevin disappeared. And this being Tron, you know exactly where he disappeared to. That's not gonna be a secret. You know he's in the grid. You know it. Because where else would he freaking be? Especially since you know Jeff Bridges is in the movie. So Sam grew up without his dad. He's now the principal shareholder of Incom, although he doesn't do anything with the company other than pull apparently a yearly prank. And by prank, I actually mean something akin to corporate espionage. He literally does things that are completely illegal, and shareholder or not would get him arrested. And the movie begins when he reluctantly starts searching for his father. And this being Tron, you know he's gonna find him, and you know where. No surprises. Jeff Bridges has a double role in this movie, sort of. He plays Kevin Flynn, who is in this movie meant to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi wise mentor character, although he actually comes off as sort of almost, I don't even know what to call him. He's sort of an inactive, super passive Zen hippie. And he's so disappointing in this movie. I mean, there are moments in this movie where he enters the room in the most symbolically badass manner possible, and then literally does nothing. You know, there are moves that in the visual language of film mean the character is about to kick some ass. You know, I mean, if you've seen the Iron Man 3 poster, that pose, when the guy comes down and lands in that pose, that means that when he gets up, he is about to fuck shit up. And they literally have Jeff Bridges 3 or 4 times hit that pose, look around at a bunch of enemies, and then not do anything. It's like the movie was made by people who've only seen movie trailers, or made by people who've only seen movie posters and never watched any actual movies, at least not any good ones. It's that bad. Oh my god. And Bruce Boxleitner is back as, what's the guy's name? Alan Bradley, the man who wrote the original Tron program. He actually also plays Tron for about, like, 2 seconds of the film, which is really disappointing considering that the Tron program is in much, much more of the film, but they keep his face covered, which is, it doesn't make sense, but in a way you're glad for it, but it's silly. And I guess Bradley's supposed to be also sort of a mentor character, because he's the one that sends Sam on the quest to find his father. But he's just wasted in this, you know. Not that Bruce Boxleitner is completely an A-list actor, but he's better than this. You know, if you've ever seen Babylon 5, he's better than this. He's way better than this, you know. And your villain in this movie is Clue. They named the villain Clue in a movie that doesn't have a clue, and I'm not even trying to be funny. It Clue is a program that was written by Jeff Bridges, Kevin Flynn, and Clue had one mission. The mission was to create the perfect system. Now, anyone who studied human history at all knows that all attempts to create a perfect society lead basically to the Nazis. You know this. You know it. And Clue is no exception. Clue basically becomes the computer program version of Adolf Hitler. And as bad as that is, it's worse, because Clue is played by Jeff Bridges. As in Tron logic, every program looks exactly like the person who programmed them, which would mean that anyone who's written multiple programs would actually have like a bunch of little clones running around. But apparently people have only ever written one program a piece, ever. I don't know. So Clue is played by Jeff Bridges, but they wanted to make him look young like he did in the first film. So what they did was they digitally, I don't even think they digitally made him look younger, because it's not like, you know, the way they made the guy that played Captain America look thin. That looked like him. It looked like a real person. No, this guy's face is computer animated, and it looks computer animated, and it doesn't look, it's the graphics of the computer animation are not even as realistic as the graphics on a modern video game. Not even a modern video game of like the time when the movie actually came out. It's that bad. It's really that bad. Literally the only upside of this movie is how good you thought it was going to be before you went in to see it. And then everything else is downside. Okay, maybe some of the action. The action is actually done fairly well. Some of the action is pretty entertaining, but it's all an update of what you saw in the previous film. Because that's what this movie is. It's not even a sequel, it's just an update. And so, yeah, the action, I gotta give it to it on the action. But the rest of the movie is all downside. The movie is stupid. It's really, really stupid. And the special effects are not nearly as good as they should be. It's certainly not for something that came out after The Matrix. It's not there. And as high as my hopes were for this movie, this is easy. This movie is, only because of the action does this movie make it to 2 stars. If you had to go by story alone and you didn't have any of the action sequences, this would have been a 1 or a no star movie. This movie is actually really bad. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, Tron Legacy. Ugh. So did you see Tron Legacy? And be honest, which did you think was worse, Tron Legacy or the third Matrix movie? Personally, I'm Tron Legacy all the way. Oh my goodness, this was a bad movie. Oof.